Yeah, so change. Change. Some things have to change. And part of that is how we interact with one another so that we can produce change that is the betterment for a lot of people, right? You're going to hear me say over and over again the best change comes about when people freely have the opportunity to participate in that change instead of being forced, threatened, coerced into that change, right? It's better to have individuals freely acting in love out of their own self interest rather than forcing someone to do it. And in turn, persons can become bitter, they can become begrudging, and in some cases, they can react, push back violently. So it's important to really develop a way of change that is not only supporting the freedom of individuals and their dignity and worth, because as soon as you begin to force people, coerce people to do things, you are really denying who they are fundamentally as free human beings. So it's important that we take an approach that really respects that as an individual, but also it takes into consideration who an individual is in the totality of who he or she is. And so I think four things we got to take into consideration: um, how they view big questions of life, the transcendent, the religious, and those individuals, whether they're Christian, Islamic, whether they Buddhist, agnostic, even atheist, they have something to bring to the table about the big questions about life, and we should hear their voices. The other thing is this: is that we got to ask. Society has a responsibility, right? We want a society that is thriving. We want a society in which the maximum amount of people are having the opportunity to determine their course in life. And so, persons who really think that way about society, how human beings interact with one another, their voices need to be, brought to the table. And the other thing we got to bring to the table is economics. Like, we got to acquire things, you got to give up something, right? And how that is developed over the course of the centuries in the development of human beings is that we give up something of value to get something of value. All right? We consider that the thing that we have as less valuable than the thing that we want to acquire. And so, from an economic standpoint, the decisions that we make in regards to change, that's going to have an economic impact. We got to ask ourselves, how much is this going to cost? How much is this going to cost? And not only how much is it going to cost, how much of what this is going to cost, what impact is this going to have on the individuals, and then by extension, the society. And then the other thing is this, is we got to confront the political question. Now, man, we are in some kind of straits right now, but I think, and I'm hopeful, things will improve. We've got these extremes happening on the left and the right, people staking out their position, people maligning, people carrying out purity tests, so on and so forth. But there's a large swath of individuals in the middle, right, who just don't see life that way. And so it's important that we have to consider the political questions. And the biggest political question is this, is that in relationship to the government or the state, is are they taking power from the individual, or are they standing out of the way so that the individual can have the maximum amount of power, influence, maximum amount of freedom to do what he or she needs to do while not harming others and taking other people's stuff. So we need to be informed. We need to be educated. We need to be educated on the religious. We need to be educated on the social, the economic, and the political. We need to look at a variety of sides, take those things into consideration. We need to address the issue while not maligning the person, right? I think we've got it confused. We hear someone with an objectionable issue, an issue we don't disagree with or we don't quite understand, and then what we do, we malign the individual and we use all types of phrases, ad hominem attacks, and at that point, really, what you're admitting is you just don't understand it, and so the only thing you can do is call people names. Hey, we got to enter into discussion and negotiation. You're not going to get everything you want. It's just the reality, right? When you have human beings involved, you're not going to get what you want. But as long as we remember the dignity of the human being, as long as we remember the freedom of the human being, as long as we remember that we want to see the maximum amount of people have the maximum amount of opportunities to choose their course in life while not harming other people, I think change, good change, is on the horizon. So let's keep the faith. Let's remain hopeful that we can continue to press on and pursue what we've always sought to pursue, which is a desire to recognize our purpose and find meaning in life. Hey, those are good things to strive for. Hey, if you found something of value, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Find us on Facebook at Dr. Philip Fletcher. Find us on Twitter at Phil Fletcher. And as always, visit us on the website philipfletcher.org.